Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Here are your hosts, Jmann and Danny, the Midwest motherfuckers. Episode 7, What Do We Call It podcast. Here we are. I'm Jmann.
And I'm Danny.
So here's something that happened the other day. Like, I was working out down here in the basement. Before work, I was doing some front raises with the dumbbells, and I wasn't paying attention to where I was. I fucking put one of the dumbbells up through the light bulb, and all of a sudden I just hear, and I just closed my eyes, and I felt little shards of fluorescent bulb raining all down around me, so I had to pause my workout for 5 minutes to clean that up.
At least you didn't get electrocuted.
I barely nicked it. It's one of these spiral cocksuckers. Oh. Not like one of these long fluorescent, workshop jobbies. But still, it interrupted my workout, and I was upset about that one. Took my oldest to the library today. She got a library card, and she's also about to lose almost all of her front four bottom teeth.
Oh,
the whole front four are loose.
Lisping like
she
crazy.
Already kind of has a lateral lisp, so what they're trying to do is teach her to pronounce her S's off the back of her front teeth.
She can't do that. She ain't got no front
teeth. She's got no fucking front teeth. I'm like, my mom's like, well, once she gets them out, she's not going to be able to chew there. I'm like, fuck being able to chew there. How retarded is she going to sound? She's like, oh, don't even say that. You're going to make her feel bad. I'm like, she's 5 and she's not in the room. I don't think she's going to read my mind. Well, so I think I'm safe there.
It's temporary. Them teeth grow back fast.
Yeah, I don't know. Then she's probably going to go through that awkward, ugly stage where her teeth are all too fucking big for her mouth. And I'm like, oh my God, why did my little girl get replaced by one of those aliens from the movie Home? Or the Croods or something.
Yeah, I've seen the Croods.
So here's a topic I wanted to touch on. My 2-year-old is creepy as hell sometimes. Not like she watches me sleep or talks to invisible people on the TV or anything like that, but like the way she talks sometimes. When she first started putting together full sentences, she would try to get away with acting up. And any time you'd say, don't do that, she'd say, I have to. So it's like, stop jumping on the bed. You're going to fall off and get hurt. I have to. Which under most circumstances is both funny and infuriating. But this one time, though, she took it a step too far. I was changing her diaper, and she had this same habit that most toddlers do, grabbing at herself. First few times it happens, you try to not freak out, like, stop that! Don't touch your giny. But this one time, she was pulling on her cooter, like it was a goddamn batch of silly putty. I said, don't touch your giny, okay? And she looks me right in the eyes, and she whispers, I have to. Not saying it, whispering it, with the shitty grin. And it was so fucking creepy. It's like she knew that it was going to make things awkward. I went to Catholic school, so naturally, I say God damn it constantly. Well, she happened to start repeating, especially when she knew I didn't want her to say it. So picture me sitting on the Bermuda Triangle couch. I shut my eyes, and she's walking back and forth, and all of a sudden, she goes, God damn it, God damn it. And I told her, I'm like, stop saying that. And she kind of freezes up. I'm like, if you say that again, you're going to get a spanking. So I closed my eyes, because I thought that was going to be the end of it. But I felt her walk right by me, and then I hear this right next to my head. God damn it. And the weirdest of her catchphrases is asking, you like it? Like the other day, my parents are watching her, and I'm at work, and she took this mega-sized double dare physical challenge-esque poop. I guess my dad opened the diaper and gagged, and he told her, he's like, what a gross poop. And she looked him right in the eye and asked, you like it? So recently, this question comes with a response to your, no, I don't like it, in the form of, Mommy likes it, or Grandma likes it. How does somebody get to be that full of shit at such a young age? I don't know. She's like light years ahead of my 5-year-old. Climbing everything, sneaking around, whispering swear words like she's in a library. Giving you disingenuous apologies for things she did on purpose. Like saying, I'm really, really sorry, Daddy. I won't do it again. 10 minutes later. She's climbing the fucking wall again. And I'm not mocking her speech either. She just has that cutesy way of saying W's in places of R's, so it's hard to stay all the way mad. But she clearly thinks she's done with the argument, and it makes me want to say, no, fuck you. You're going to do it again, and it's going to be on purpose. Like the way she works a crowd for treats at parties. She'll go one by one to each person in the room asking for a cookie, or a cracker, or something else, getting what she wants. And then moving on to the next dupe once person A catches on. Like try to eat a bowl of anything around her. And she's all, hey, I want some. Yeah, sure, why not? You've only been pissing snot out of your nose and coughing all day. Why wouldn't I want to catch whatever ailment du jour you've managed to get from licking parts of a Target shopping cart?
Got anything else creepy that she's done?
Well, there was the time that I was in the kitchen doing my crossword puzzle, and I had my back to her, and all of a sudden I hear her say behind me, I hear, I picked my poops, I'm picking my poops, and I just, like, froze,
What,
like a
like-
deer in the headlights.
Like dingleberries or something?
I turn around, I'm like, what are you talking about? You picked your poops? Yeah, I picked my poops. I'm like, come here, now, come here. And she apparently had shit her pants, well, her diaper, and she had dug down the back of her diaper and, like, touched the poops, so she had a little bit of poop on her fingers. I'm like, why would you do that? Why would? And then I looked at her forehead. She had like anointed herself with a little hash mark of poo in between her eyes. And then I went and looked at the table. I'm like, there's a couple of little toys that had shit on them. The chair she was sitting on had shit over the top round and some of the spindles. So I went into full-on deep clean mode, and it took me like 45 minutes to get her bathed and all the shit cleaned up and get my mind back to not being mush.
How long after that until the pink eye came?
Nobody got pink eye.
Wow.
I don't know how she didn't get pink eye. Did you know that even though you can get hepatitis A from poop germs, that's where it comes from, you can't get hep A from your own poop? I learned that from my friend's wife after one of his twins apparently took his diaper off and ate a nugget of his own shit at daycare.
Kind of makes sense though, because it's your own flora and fauna.
So you can eat your own poop and you won't get sick.
I'll pass. I'll
Just
take your
remember
word
that next
for
time
it.
you're lost out in the wilderness and there's no food, but you got a full bowel.
Yeah, but your shit is depleted. It's everything your body didn't need. That so what good's it gonna do?
It's going to keep you full to keep moving, I guess.
Yeah, but you're still losing calories. So they can't be added.
I'm not a
It's all waste.
dietitian. I'm just trying to give you advice and trick anybody listening into eating their own poops.
I will not eat my own shit.
So what would you say rational fear-wise? What are a few of the things that kind of freak you out?
Spiders.
You fucking have tons of lizards and snakes and shit.
Yeah, but they don't have 8 legs and 40 eyes.
Okay, fair enough.
Spiders is really the only one. I used to be afraid of bees too.
But now you started the beekeeping and you magically
I
you're like
started.
the fucking bee whisperer now.
Yes. Well, once you do research on them and you find out they're not the satanic little bastards that wasps and hornets are.
They're huge and they're sting crazy. Oh God, save yourselves!
Yeah. Once I started doing the research, all that went out the window. Now I only wear a veil when I go out and mess with them.
Yeah.
Barehanded. It's easier to do.
Well, I know the old saying goes, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. But clearly FDR would have felt like an asshole for saying that if he had a DeLorean and 3 days to kill on the internet. Because that motherfucker didn't have daughters. He had a daughter, but not daughters. And there wasn't an internet. Back then, perverts had to drive down the playground to get some strange. And I used to have stupid fears growing up. And even now, there's still some basic fear in me, but nothing like the fears I have as a father. You know, rational fears, like falling victim to a shark attack in the ocean. I don't like to go in the ocean. Because if I can't see what's around me in the water, it kind of freaks me out. Not to the point where I'm like petrified of ocean water. But the one time I was in the ocean down in Florida many years ago, we got like 100 yards off the shore and we turned around and went, holy shit, like how far out we are. You think there's like sharks and shit swimming around?
Well, and the thing is, the tide can suck you out too at any time.
Yeah, so we swam back to shore pretty quick. Being mangled up in a car crash while driving during a snowstorm?
Yeah, the cold would suck ass. I crashed in a it wasn't a snowstorm, but it was winter. That's when me and my cousin crashed.
That's gonna
Valentine's
take me-
Day.
Shut up!
Yeah.
I was in a rollover back in 2001, the day before Valentine's Day. Going down 65, headed back from Cambridge towards Bethel. And she swerved one way and swerved back and overcorrected. And all of a sudden, we were facing the traffic we were going with.
Shut up.
Then we went and we were going like 65 and we slid into the side embankment and we rolled 4 1/4 times.
That's like the same thing we did, but we didn't roll. We went across the highway, back across the highway. This is 94 at 101, incidentally, not far from where I live now.
Yeah.
We were coming back from St. Cloud, and, well, let's see, we went up there because I had a girlfriend up there, and it was Valentine's Day. So my cousin drove me up there, and she was going to be the sober driver. Well, I started drinking and not paying attention. She was sneaking drinks the whole time.
Bitch.
She didn't inform me this until we were already on our way back, and I was fucking with a CD player. She kept getting pissed, and then she finally told me, "You need to settle the fuck down because I've been drinking." I'm like, oh.
That's nice.
About 10 minutes later, that's when we crashed.
We didn't go like across the center median. We just weaved back and forth across the 2 lanes going
Well,
southbound.
we didn't really go across the median either because up in that stretch, they got the posts in the road with the wire through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we bounced into that and like snapped a perfect line across her geoprism. Last time I seen the speedometer, it said 110.
Holy shit.
I didn't even know this geoprism could go 110.
What was the final result of that? Anybody injured?
Oh yeah, I got the scar on my arm and lost a lot of blood. Like my side of the car looked like a murder scene. But really, she got the worst of it. She had to get stitches and staples in her head.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal.
See, later on the same day as my crash, I was back at her house waiting for my parents to come pick me up because they didn't want me to drive after that. The whole reason we were in her... We totaled her mom's car. Her mom was in Mexico. Her car got stuck in the driveway and my car got stuck in the driveway. It had been like a snowstorm. Then my folks came to pick me up and the phone rang and I thought it was her dad and I picked up. I'm like, oh yeah, she's upstairs just making lunch for the girls because she had little sisters. And then I hear this. Yeah, could you tell her to call her boyfriend so-and-so? I'm like, I will do that, thank you. And then we had an uncomfortable conversation about how she had been carrying on a 4.5-month-long emotional relationship behind my back in the city that she used to live in up north.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a fucking awesome Valentine's Day.
Mine ended in the hospital.
I say I didn't have to go to the hospital. I ended up with my head wrapped up like a mummy because the fucking trooper that came to the accident, I had like a few small cuts on my head that bled like vaginas on the third day of Lilith Fair. And she wrapped me up like I was going to die. Everybody was like, when we walked out of the wreckage.
I vaguely remember the crash, and then I guess I pulled my cousin out of the car. I had to have climbed out the window because the door on the passenger side was not opening. And apparently I pulled her out, and then somebody stopped and put us in the back seat of their car with one of them silver blankets.
Yeah.
And then the ambulance came, and...
But the car came to a stop on all four wheels.
As far as I know, it might have only...
We were laying on the side, like it was laying on its side on the driver's side, and she didn't wear a seatbelt, so she was like bouncing around. She's lucky she didn't get ejected.
Yeah, no.
She grabbed the steering wheel for dear life, and she got like some bruises from bouncing around, but she got lucky.
Yeah, we were on all fours.
Giggity.
I wasn't wearing a seatbelt, though. And had I been wearing a seatbelt, I wouldn't have a leg right now. I wouldn't have a right leg. The way I sat in the car, it just... That's where the door came in. Like, it pinched in, and my leg would have been fucked. So, that instance, not having a seatbelt on saved me.
You don't have any, like, crazy irrational fears, do you?
Not really.
Spiders is a rational fear. But if you're like, oh my god, the Al-Qaedas are going to come to get me, so I'm going to make sure that I don't talk to anybody who's a Muslim, or I'm going to wear this fucking tinfoil hat on so the government can't read my mind.
No.
See, there are irrational fears that most people have, like the kind where they spend years just bathing in hand sanitizer and duct taping black garbage bags over their windows. Irrational fear like mice, or random public violence. Or the Yakuza will murder me for being a white guy anywhere near Beijing. Black guys will rape me for being white and skinny in prison. Mexican guys will rape me for being white and skinny in prison.
I think you just fear rape, huh?
Most of my fears revolve around either being raped or killed for being white. I don't think I need to explain to anyone in America where that comes from. We all had history class. Right? But I think the worst fear I have in my life is going to be like when my daughters grow up. Not even like in their 20s or 30s, but like 14. I know that my life is going to be like a 24-hour-a-day anxiety attack, peeking out the front shades like an agoraphobic, talking to myself like, get away from my daughter, boy.
Does that have something to do with how you were when you were a 14-year-old boy?
Kind of. But I'm just going to be sitting there like peeking through the blinds, wearing a fucking candy necklace made out of Xanax, nibbling away at my leisure to make the anxiety go away. So they're 5 and almost 3 now. So I realize I've got a little while. But even at like 8, some pedophile is waiting to steal them from the mall and drive them to Idaho to service some potato farmer. And at that point, French fries are definitely going to lose their appeal. All right, but for now, it's just SpongeBob and going to the park. But oh my God, 14. In the fucking digital age, you get how frightening that shit is.
Yeah, it's way more
human trafficking and all that shit. Little girls don't have a developed enough brain to know that every guy walking around nearby them is, statistically speaking, thinking about harming them. Hi, I'm the bus driver. I take you to school each day. Reach into my pocket if you want a piece of candy. Safest place for a little girl is in church. Because at least in church, they're not a little boy.
Yeah.
Outside of me and their grandfather, the rest of the world is like an Iron Maiden of random dicks trying to stab them in the innocence. And I just know I've already spent way too much time thinking about this. For the first time they bring a boy home, I'm probably going to commit an assault. Because what do all teenage boys want? I'll give you a hint. Because I used to be one. It's not unconditional friendship, all right? It's pussy. And it starts when they're young, with like playing tag on the playground, and especially these days because there's this variant called rape tag. Have you heard of rape tag?
No.
Google that shit. It's real. And I thought it was hilarious until I had a daughter. Like, think about how innocent the act of playing tag is. Now visualize sex. Rape tag is like you walk up to somebody and you start rubbing up on them, and that's how they're it.
So like what dogs do.
Kinda. But you think of just regular tag. It's like the schoolyard equivalent of just a tip. Ooh, I'm going to run after Susie because she's cute, and I'm going to tap her on the shoulder and say, tag, you're it. And then run away and hide under the monkey bars with confusing tightness in my pants because I don't yet understand why this makes me get so excited. He's like, yay, I touched a girl. Which, oddly enough, is eerily similar to the way I sound out loud to myself after sex. Now, weird. That's how it starts. That's the hook. Then it's hand-holding and hugging and kisses on the cheek, and then it's fellatio. I don't know. Maybe I skipped a step. But kids today are growing up faster, you know? And I watch my 5-year-old, and she runs up to every kid and she introduces herself. And my fucking pulse jumps. Because she could potentially be meeting the one kid who's going to strangle her and jack off on her face. Or he might be the tag kid. You know? And yep, there he is with a boner under the monkey bars, or the gymnastic bars, whatever PC bullshit term they use them to call now, because they don't want to offend black kids. Because it's America, and we don't have to rename everything because it can be misconstrued as quasi-racist by sensitivity extremists. Can you just see on the playground supervisor, like, you can't say monkey bars. It's a negative connotation to people of color.
Yeah, we're fucked that way nowadays.
They're swinging like monkeys. They're not... If I see a kid on the monkey bars, I'm like, oh, look at that kid on the monkey bars.
It's primate.
Is it primate bars?
I think so.
The simian exercise apparatus? But think of what else is going on for little girls. Sexual slavery, unplanned pregnancy, syphilis, domestic abuse, rape, eye trauma, drugs, binge drinking, the Tea Party.
God,
the list goes on and on.
Happy episode.
And it's in moments like those that I wish she was a little boy, because I'm an atheist, so we're good on the church front. No one's going to take her to mass and try to fuck her in the mouth. At least not me. My parents take her sometimes, but pretty sure my dad can keep his eye on her long enough for something to not happen. Like, if she's a boy, all I got to do is teach him to throw a ball and wait for the news cameras to show up one day and ask me if I saw the warning signs after he goes on a killing spree. At least then it's just, social isolation for fallout, not me walking into a room before I go to work and there's sex happening, all while there's stuffed animals watching goofy grinned horror.
So what happens, though, when she turns 14 and tells your ex-old lady that she likes girls?
Well, it's funny you bring that up, because... they're beautiful and funny and so unnervingly trusting now. They watch Sesame Street and play Ring Around the Rosie and eat fruit snacks, and it's these very perfect little moments that I feel happy. And then I cross my fingers and I hope they both grow up to be gay. Yeah,
but that brings on a whole new set of issues.
No, I don't care. I don't care if they both grow up to fuck women who look like Michael Moore, as long as everybody at the party has a vagina. Like, seriously. I pretty much pray that they both become lesbians so that they're good at sports and won't want to suck a dick. As a father of little girls, you worry about them being adults doing adult things. But think about this now. If you have daughters, no one wants to picture their son sucking a dick, I think. But God, if they both would grow up to be gay and get jobs, I would probably just kill myself the next day. Just climb into my closet like David Carradine and tie the rope around my neck, start jerking off, and do my best to come before I passed out. And sure, the visual of them finding my corpse might fuck them up, but at least they're not sucking a dick. Nope, just pussy breath and support group meetings about survivor's guilt from there on out. Again. Those are my fears as a father. I don't want to think of, if you have little girls, you think about, oh my God, one day some son of a bitch is going to come over and try to get him to touch his dick and then lick his dick and then suck his, oh God damn it. And then you spend a few minutes just hating little boys, and then you spend a few minutes reminiscing about all the mouths you've stuck your dick in. That's usually how it goes for me. I'm just like, I am everything that I am afraid my daughters are going to meet when they get bigger.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to think about... That literally takes probably days off my life, worrying about them being kidnapped and sold into sexual slavery. If you want to see a movie about that, watch this Dolph Lundgren movie called Skin Trade. It's not great, but it gets the point across. There's also another one, a Van Damme movie called Six Bullets. That one kicks ass. Watch Six Bullets.
What, are these both from the 80s?
No, they're both from the last 2 years.
What?
Yes!
Jean-Claude Van Damme still making movies, huh?
I have a bunch of them sitting on the DVD rack in the next fucking room right now. I have such a man crush on Van Damme. My theory is that I would have actually gone and seen the Taken movies if Jean-Claude Van Damme would have played the part by Liam Neeson. Yeah, he still would have had an accent, and the delivery might not have been as on point, but the action scenes wouldn't have been a 62-year-old man trying to act like he's fucking tough.
Well, how old is Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Jean-Claude Van Damme is 53, I believe. 53 is a far cry from 62 when you look at Liam Neeson. He's not in great shape.
I'm still surprised.
Van Damme is still ripped like a motherfucker. I follow him on Facebook, and he's always got workout. But he's still almost as ripped now as he was in the 90s.
Van Damme or Chuck Norris?
Van Damme.
Think so?
Yes. Fucking, I mean, Chuck Norris was great.
What's his actual discipline?
Are we talking now, or are we talking like in their prime?
No.
Well, now it's obviously Van Damme because Chuck Norris is pushing 70. I don't care how many fights he had with Bruce Lee. He can't still do a split kick into the air like Van Damme can.
Yeah, but isn't Chuck Norris into jiu-jitsu? What's Van Damme's
shit?
That's the basic martial
Think about a
art of
70-some-year-old man trying to execute Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Well, he's trying to flip somebody around and pass their guard. He's already gotten 15 punches in the face and a couple of roundhouse kicks right to the chops.
Have you ever heard of Hoist Gracie?
Well, yeah, but he's Hoist Gracie. He's like a once-in-3-generation talent.
No, it's the whole fucking Gracie clan.
Yeah, but they're not all
There's
as great
still
as
fucking
he is.
grandpas their grandpa is like 90 and can still fucking beat ass.
I hope the audience appreciates how he went from me worrying about my daughter sucking dick and hopefully becoming lesbians to talking about who's the tough guy.
Well, this is how the natural conversation of things flows.
I don't know. I
sometimes.
think if I ever had to get caught in an elevator, I'd want it to either be Dolph Lundgren or Jean-Claude Van Damme. Because I would just love to have hours to pick them. They'd probably kill me for all the dumb questions I'd have. But Dolph Lundgren's got genius-level IQ. He's a fucking Mensa member. He went to college to be a chemical engineer. So if he wouldn't have been Ivan Drago, he probably would have been finding a way to like make new forms of poison, toxic gas, or cure diseases. That guy's brilliant. And Jean-Claude Van Damme is famous for roundhouse kicks, cocaine, and having sex with Brigitte Nielsen sometime after Sylvester Stallone did. And who the fuck wants Rocky sloppy seconds?
Who's the other
As
martial
badass as I think Sylvester Stallone is.
that was all up in the movies in the early 90s?
Steven Seagal.
That's the one.
He's a fat pig. Oh, fuck that guy.
Oh, and all of his shit was fake anyway, wasn't it? Or it was just done in slow motion
Yeah,
and sped up.
his movies are more or less the byproduct of very careful editing.
Right.
Whereas
yeah.
Van Damme has competed in tournaments. Not
Yeah.
anything recently, but, you know, he could. And if you know anything about Rocky IV, Lundgren and Stallone were throwing real punches.
Yeah.
At one point, he got hit so hard in the chest that he got a dysrhythmia in his heart, and he had to go sit for 3 days in the fucking hospital. And he's like, well, I thought I was going to fucking die. I told this guy to hit me. He did. I was in the hospital. It was fucking crazy.
That's a pretty good impersonation.
Well, you know, if you want to do impersonations of tough guys, there's not just one person in the local Twin Cities area with a microphone that can sound like the Body. You're talking about Chuck Norris and Van Damme and Stallone and Dolph Lundgren. Were any of these motherfuckers Navy SEALs? No, they were not. Let me tell you about that Kyle fella that disgraced me in his book, and here's why it pisses me off. He's all, ooh, look at me, I'm a sniper, I'm so fucking tough. You were sitting in a safe room a half a mile away with a scope, motherfucker, when I was in the jungle with nothing but a Gatling gun and Big League Chew facing predators. Did you take on alien warriors? No, you did not.
And no time to bleed, right?
I've got no time to bleed, no time to get a haircut, and no time to worry about paying taxes in America because I moved to Mexico because there's so many pretty Latinas there that want to touch me on my downstairs.
Have you seen him lately? He has lost his shit.
He looks like probably he should visit an asylum.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Let me go on CNN and Fox News and tell all you fuckers why you're such pieces of shit, and then you can tell me how I've gone crazy, but you know what? I bet you wouldn't sit down and have a staring contest with the Body, would you? You couldn't take the heat. Navy SEAL. I bet you couldn't even sit down and stare at my dog Gorilla. He'd fucking wipe his ass on your carpet and pee in your favorite chair, and you'd be sitting there like, whoa, it's the Body's dog. I better not do anything to him. I might get bit by the Body, not by the dog.
That it?
Well, let's just bring up the fact that you joined a podcast community to try to promote the show. What was the name of that community?
Podcast Town.
On Facebook.
Yes.
And what happened?
Oh, just
The first comment you got was,
kill yourself.
isn't that great? I just want to point this out, though. People think that the world has gotten so much more callous now, but a week and a half ago I was watching Rocky 2. And it's the one where Apollo challenges Rocky to a rematch because everybody's telling him he's a punk. And Rocky beat him and he got saved by the bell. So Apollo Creed comes out. He's like up on the upper level of his house. He comes out with letters. He's like, listen to this shit, Marianne. All these people talking about me. You know that Rocky beat you. You know you're not the real champ. Kill yourself. So back in 1979, in the script of a major Hollywood movie, they were saying that people would write letters to you to just say, kill yourself if they didn't like you. So that's like 30-some fucking years ago, almost 40 years ago, and people were still saying that then. So fast forward to now, and from here on out on the show, anytime someone that we talk about is being an extreme douchebag, we're going to refer to them as being a Seth. Why?
Because this was the jackass who felt the need to start tearing apart simple little mistakes.
You made one typo. Yeah. One typo in your reply about how you didn't get the negative sentiment that was put out there the second you just tried to advertise on a podcast community full of people advertising their podcast.
And I let them know we're new. We want feedback. We want to know what's going on. And then here's the other problem: is 90% of the stuff that I put out online, I'm doing it from my fucking cell phone at work. I work. Today I put in 13 hours. This is a normal day.
And then today was the day that we got that I was like, hey, I just texted the half-ass morning show, and you're like, I'm going to do it too. And they didn't read mine, they read yours. I'm like, well, what the fuck?
And of course, I had
a typo in yours. You tried to say floor sanding Jesus, but it said floor standing Jesus. But he corrected you. He's like, I think he means floor standing.
He knew who it was. But for some reason, my phone autocorrects sanding to standing. So I spelt it right, and the phone fucked me.
Can you turn off autocorrect?
Yeah, but I like it.
No. It's not your friend. Don't rely on a machine to fix your sentences. Look what happened today. It was your shining moment to get us some free press.
It got us twice the amount of time online because he was fucking talking about it.
I don't know. I looked at some of the YouTube view numbers today and they didn't spike. But we'll see.
That's because we're not a sponsor, so I don't think they can take that much time to tell
all he's got to say is a shout out to the What Do We Call It podcast on YouTube. Because now I tried Googling What Do We Call It podcast. I got a whole bunch of shit. Some of it was us and some of it was weird, stupid stuff.
Yeah.
I got a link to a Russian podcast show about movies. I'm like, fuck. But then when I put it in parentheses, it came up. So it's not impossible to find us.
And either way, it was still a shout out on the radio.
It was.
So it was good.
High five. I guess we're gonna slow the show down now to the end where we give Danny the opportunity to plug all the places where you can find the show.
You can find us at What Do We Call It Podcast blogspot.com, the What Do We Call It Podcast.podomatic.com, and What Do We Call It Podcast.soundcloud.com.
In addition to the YouTube page under your name, you can just search What Do We Call It Podcast on YouTube, or you can search Facebook for What Do We Call It Podcast. So for tonight, I am Jmann.
And I'm Danny.
And that's the end.